Hi, my name is Eustine Macheka, formerly the president of SAYWHAT University of Science Education. I was an aspirant at University of Science Education, aspiring for the president's post in the year 2014 to 2015. And I remained the Zikoso president for that period of time, and I was in the national executive of the Zikoso team. I faced so many challenges during my campaigning period. First and foremost was the ground was not level for me. There was serious gender inequalities, especially considering the fact that I was the first female student to campaign for the president post at Bindura University of Science Education. So there was a lot of labeling, people undermining my capacity, and they one you can still note that there's still that patriarchal dominance whereby people are not yet ready or will not take it to be led by a female president. And at that point in time, even in the SRC, the only female students that you see in SRC were at the gender desk, and I changed the tables and I started campaigning for the president's post. So the tables were not leveled up for me, and there's serious challenges whereby people were not prepared or ready to be led by a female president. So there were a lot of gender discrimination because I was a woman. Well, on what inspired me to take up this position was as an empowered female student, I felt that I should take an initiative to break the grounds, to change the grounds, to change history, and start campaigning for a leader, for a higher post in leadership positions, which is more influential. And I believe that if you have a problem, you can only be able to solve your problem when you have a fair representation. So I thought that it would be fair enough if I take up the president position as a female student, so as to equally or evenly represent the fellow female students at large, as well as the rest of the students at Ventura University. So it was the zest in me, the eagerness in me that inspired me to take up that leadership position. There are so many challenges that I've faced as an office bearer in the during my course of time because, like I said earlier on, when you're a female student and you're trying to take up a leadership or an influential position, it's very hard, and it's not easy for people to easily listen to you and for people to easily comply with what you'll be saying. But against all odds, I managed to pull my way through. But the labeling will still be there, and there are some power hungry people who will be working day and night to downtrod you, to undermine you, and to say all that kinds of stuff. But all the same, it was challenging and interesting, but I managed to pull through. Indeed, I managed to make an impact on sexual reproductive health and rights during my course of time because before I took that leadership initiative, I was an active member of SAYWHAT. I was also an active member of Female Student Network, whereby we were trying to groom and empower students on sexual reproductive health and rights. So the initiative continued even during my leadership, during my term. Would host peer education workshops, trainings, doing cleanup campaign. We also pushed for the sexual harassment policy at Bindra University, and there are a lot of initiatives on sexual reproductive health and rights that we managed to undertake and push, especially for the female student to be able to be treated fairly during maternal or maternity leave. My major recommendations to the university is that it is the mandate of the university to protect its students. I believe the Bindura University security agents are there to protect students, not to victimize or harass them or forward them to the state security or national security agents for victimizations. If there are any misunderstandings, these misunderstandings must be solved in house. Student politics must be treated as student politics, not to be mixed with national politics. So I think the university must take this mandate to protect its students, not to expose them or to make them vulnerable to all sorts of abuse and harassment by national security agents. And I believe that as when we are female leaders and against male students, I think the male students should also encourage and empower and support the fellow female students to be in leadership positions, because it is high time we stop the culture of violence thing. It is high time we deal away with patriarchal dominance and embrace gender equality and embrace women empowerment and embrace female student empowerment. I believe I'm an inspiration to many people. I believe there is a lot of potential in me when it comes to all sorts of leadership positions. I've taken a strong interest in developmental issues, and currently I'm working on children rights issues. And all I know is in 5 to 10 years' time, I'll be somewhere, and that place is very great, whereby I'll be taking this initiative of continuing the work that I've been doing at school, student activism, but here in particular, it's now activism for the rights of the women and activism on the rights of the children, especially those children that are in conflict with the law.